Now that you have opened up your foldable, you should be at this point right here where you opened it up and you should see the three number lines on the left hand side. So the first one that we're going to deal with, we're going to talk about in the upper left hand corner. That first one, I want to graph x is less than 2. Okay, so if I'm graphing x is less than 2, then I need to start at positive 2 with an open circle, and then it's going to head in the direction to the left because it's less than. If you have that variable on the left hand side, it will also point in the direction that it needs to go. Again, it's pointing to the left. So other words for less than that you might come into contact with are things like is under, is below, smaller than, fewer than, is lower than, and you might see or less. So those are all other words that might represent less than. Next one we want to focus on is greater than. So our example for greater than we're going to do here, x is greater than -4. So I'm going to the -4, and again it's greater than, so I'm just putting an open circle at -4, and again it's pointing to the right, so we're going to draw our arrow to the right. Just want to do some shading. So there's my line going to the right. Other words that we might see for greater than, you might see above, over, more than, higher than, or more. So those are all other words that you might see for greater than. The last one that we talked about so far is the less than or equal to. Our example here that we're going to use, x is going to be less than or equal to 3. So at 3 on the number line, now instead of an open circle, I want a filled in dot. Okay, so closed circle. And again, I'm following where it's pointing to. I'm going to the left, and then I'm drawing my arrow. Okay. Things you might see here instead of just less than, you might see at most, maximum, you might see is no more than. So those are some examples of less than or equal to. Now we're going to flip it closed back up again, so where you were originally. So close this back up, and then we're going to go on the back side. So you should see another blank side. Let's go ahead and do that now. Now that you flipped it over, now we're going to do the next three. So the first upper left-hand corner, we want to put the symbol greater than or equal to. Greater than or equal to. Okay. The next one we're going to talk about is equals to. Hopefully we all know what this one is. Okay. And then the last one, not equals to. Okay. So just like what we did before for opening up the foldable, I want you to do it again, only now we're on the back side. We're going to end up opening this back up to another 6 new sheets, and you should have 3 new number lines on the left hand side. So let's go ahead and open it up. Hopefully now you're here. Opened it up just like what we did before, and now we have 3 new number lines. So let's go ahead and do some examples with greater than or equal to, equals to, and not equals. So the greater than or equal to example that we're going to do, we're going to look at x is greater than or equal to -1. So x is greater than or equal to -1. So we're going to start at -1 with a solid dot, filled in dot, however you want to call it. And again, it is pointing to the right. As long as your variable's on the left hand side, you can follow this kind of trick. And we're going to go to the right. Okay, so it's pointing to the right. Other words that you might see for greater than or equal to: at least, minimum, is no less than. Okay, so those are 3 that you might hear. Going down to the equals to. Equals to, we're going to use x is equal to 5. Okay. So for this one, we're going to go to 5 on the number line. We're going to put that solid dot. Anytime it's equals, it's always a solid dot. And that's it. Okay, it just stays there on the number line. So other words for equals is going to be something like is, are, will be, is the same as, and equal. Okay. Last one we're going to do here, not equals to. Our example here is going to be x is not equal to 0. So if it's not equal to something, right, just like the less than or greater than, it wasn't equal to that particular number, we need to have an open circle at that point. And now the difference between this and the equals is that equals is only that point, whereas x is not equals to is just telling us what it can't be. It can be anything else. So we need arrows in both directions to say that it can be anything other than that one point. So, other words that you might hear for not equal to is not, is not the same as, and is different. Those are all ones that you might hear for not equals to. And that's it. Your foldable is done. You can close it up and use it as you please. Thanks for watching.